Hi everybody, welcome to the MediaTek Lab webinar from a warm Cambridge in the UK. My name is SDK, I'm Developer Relations Manager for MediaTek Labs in Europe. And this webinar is essentially a whistle-stop tour of MediaTek, the labs, the offerings we have, kind of a taster for you to understand why MediaTek's a good partner in terms of your IoT project activities. Next week, we'll be holding a second webinar, which is a bit more of a technical deep dive into the LinkIt portfolio of development boards, and give you a bit more of an understanding of the hardware, the SDKs, and APIs and that sort of stuff. So for those of you with a kind of some technical guys, or you may be technical yourself, that I could highly recommend that. It's going to be a really good webinar. So what we'll talk about is an intro to MediaTek. Who is MediaTek? A lot of people, certainly in Europe and the US, may not have heard of MediaTek. MediaTek's a very big brand in Asia. But less well known in Europe and in the US. We'll do an introduction to the MediaTek Labs and what we offer as a developer offering. Then we will talk about, very briefly, I'll talk about the hardware development kit and the software development kit, mainly about the LinkIt One. But I will touch on a couple of the other products in the portfolio. And then MediaTek Sandbox, Cloud Sandbox, which gives you the ability to capture and visualize the data that you've been receiving from your prototype project. So, introducing MediaTek. So MediaTek is a fabulous semiconductor company. The system on chips that we produce are really around in many different devices. Many of you may have an Xbox. You'll find there's MediaTek chips in that. A lot of Blu-ray players have MediaTek chips. Smart TVs, we're very integrated into smart TV technology. Just to show you our kind of global position in the various markets. In feature phones, digital TVs, DVD and Blu-ray players, and optical disc drives, we're the #1 supplier. In smartphones and tablets, we're #2, and also we're strong in connectivity and routers and things like that. We're about 12,000 strong, with about a 7 billion annual turnover. Some MediaTek powered devices that you will have seen. The HTC M9 Plus, which I guess you'd consider that to be their flagship device, running a MediaTek chip in there. Google Android One platform, Kindle Fire, Android smart TVs, and smartwatch provider iMate, using MediaTek Asta chip in their range of smartwatches. The portfolio of developer offerings that we have as a part of the LinkIt portfolio. Really, at the moment, there are three main products. There's LinkIt Connect, which is a Wi-Fi only device, really designed for being a smart switch. You can remotely control connected devices. The LinkIt One board, which has a lot of connectivity on it, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS, GSM, very useful device with an Asta chip on there. Very good prototyping tool, and is Arduino compatible, so allows people with Arduino experience to very easily move up to a more powerful device. It's a far more powerful chipset. An ARM7 chip running at 260 meg. So that's a very good all-purpose board. Then we've just released the LinkIt Assist board, which I guess you would consider it more for a professional developer. It's a little bit more expensive. Uses an Eclipse SDK, so it doesn't use the Arduino SDK. It has a more proprietary pinout, but it also, on top of that, it has a capacitive touchscreen and has full connectivity as well. So it's a really good, powerful platform. One of the things that we're looking at really is the LinkIt platform lends itself very well to targeting issues in the real world, and I think that part of the solution that we want to provide and we want to help developers with is really targeting real world problems and not building a solution for a problem that doesn't potentially exist, which I think certainly in MediaTek Labs we're aware that there's a lot of people who are building lots of clever things, but essentially are actually creating a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. On this slide, we've highlighted a number of different vertical markets, and in there's a number of potential areas where there are real-world issues and problems that we believe that the LinkIt platform in particular can help address. So healthcare, many issues around healthcare, whether it's assisted home living or whether it's something more direct for kind of a health service or kind of hospital tracking, things like that. Logistics, obviously, there's a lot of issues around identifying, shipping, asset tracking, that sort of stuff. In the energies and utilities markets, there's a strong correlation between their requirements and the solutions that IoT can bring to bear. Certainly around kind of smart meters, pipeline flow management, even health and safety systems to support kind of workers. And in many cases, it may be a case that what the solution is to connect the worker and not necessarily the infrastructure. Infrastructure might be old and it may be it might inhibit the development of IoT solutions by the cost being too great to change infrastructure to incorporate IoT solutions. So in that case, it may be a solution to connect the smart worker rather than the infrastructure. Certainly smart cities. There's a lot of focus on smart cities. I know that India's rolled out a program that's, I think, the equivalent of about $2 trillion to create a number of connected smart cities, and that has a number of kind of different capabilities and different issues. I'll come on to smart cities in a minute, actually. Smart buildings and connected homes. It's very similar to smart cities, but also has a kind of a more consumer-led focus. And certainly products like Nest and some of the kind of home heating and thermostat solutions have really kind of brought forward the M2M and IoT kind of opportunities in that. Connected cars, very big at the moment across Europe and the US. Lots of fleet management, mass transportation, and safety issues that we can target. Looking at the retailer and the consumer, then obviously there's health and kind of fitness, but there's also things like the ability to access vending, signage, appliances. So there's a lot of interest in that area. And last but not least, industrial, where there is quite a lot of potential in kind of certainly in things like agriculture and farming, to kind of assist with those sort of things. Talking a little bit about one of those areas, just to kind of give you, I guess, a vision of where the LinkIt board can fit into the kind of the overall story. I was at an event last week in France where we were discussing a lot of things about smart cities. So elements of a smart city would be citizens and community, an economy, a smart economy, being able to support smart living with health, well-being and fitness being part of the quality of life story, making sure that energy and utilities are monitored and things like pollution levels are checked, having kind of a smart transport system and smart governance so that all the data that's being generated is transparent and available to everybody. And that really boils down to the 3 A's. The data flow tends to be acquire, analyze, and act. So that's where I think LinkIt board is a very good solution. It allows you to acquire the data very easily. It's a low-cost solution that's really scalable to connect to a number of different sensors, whatever sensor you can think of. There's probably a sensor available that you can connect to a LinkIt board. Analyzing it, we have some, I'll talk about the Cloud Sandbox, where we show you some rudimentary widgets that we've got set up for you to show data that you're capturing and analyze it. But clearly, that's one of the areas that we think that the developer community will add its own innovation and its own kind of strength. And then the action upon which you perform based on the analytics that are taken. And that really, the analytics and the action really sums up where I think the main innovation is going to take place in the next few years. A quick mention for some of our colleagues. So MediaTek also has a ventures team, and at the moment we have a pot of about $300 And on this slide, you can actually see there's a number of channels that we're interested in investing in: semiconductor systems and devices, internet infrastructure, IoT, software and internet services, healthcare, robotics. So if you're involved in any of those areas and you're interested in learning more about the potential for investment from the ventures organization, you can either go to the email addresses on that screen, or you can, at the end of the slide deck, there's also my email address. You can pop an email to me and I can kind of follow up with you individually on that side of things. So, there's a little bit about MediaTek. Now talking about MediaTek Labs in a bit more detail. So, as it says, we are a developer-centric ecosystem. It's a free global program. We have teams in different regions in the world. This webinar today is being hosted out of the European team, but we have very active teams in Asia and in the US as well. It's a one-stop solution, so we're able to provide the ability to access HDKs, SDKs, forums are available. We have a solutions catalog, so if you want to build something and share that information with other people, then we can help with that. We also have a thing called Partner Connect, which allows you to really get access to the value chain and hopefully increase your ability to commercialize your prototypes as you move forward. So our main focuses really are on device creation and any application development. So obviously, with any of these solutions, there tends to be either an application that's web-based or smartphone-based at the moment. They fit quite well. The website there, labs.mediatek.com, as I said, it's free to join. Takes 5 minutes just to fill in your details, and gives you access to a whole range of content. We believe we're the best solution partner for IoT. We have an integrated application platform, so the boards, the software, the SDKs, all available with strong access to the people who are building the SDKs and the APIs, and the ability for developers to request things and that to get represented back into future releases of SDK and hardware as well. MediaTek also offers comprehensive connectivity. As you can imagine, being a chip manufacturer, we really are strongly into pretty much every type of connectivity that's available. We have strong modem teams that are working on 3G, LTE, 5G. Then there's Wi-Fi, NFC. We've got a very strong GPS chip, which actually is in the LinkIt One board, Bluetooth, and so on. Highly integrated. So our systems on chips, not just being the smallest system on chips, also have a focus on low power consumption. So we have a focus on power, size, performance, and we feel that we can offer the best choice of a chip that fits your particular requirements. And finally, leading multimedia. So with many of our solutions, certainly things that are available in our Android smartphones, we've got image capturing capabilities where we do things like very super slow-mo support. We have strong audio processing. In the LinkIt Assist, there's a GPU, so you have access to that. And there'll be some future announcements about our multimedia offerings in the next few months as well. And all of that really kind of combines together to provide a kind of a super comprehensive solution for partners to engage with and to form a basis for a powerful IoT solution. So the different elements, as I mentioned a little bit before, joining labs.mediatek.com really is the gateway to get into the community. You can get access to forums that give you multiple people that are doing similar activities. It also gives you access to one-to-one questions with labs personnel if you require that. SDKs, so the SDKs are available to everybody. We have combinations of Arduino SDKs for the LinkIt One boards, and we have Flix-based SDKs for LinkIt One and LinkIt Assist. There's a range of technical documentation that's available. More is being generated all the time. As you can imagine, with a company the size of MediaTek, there's a kind of a raft of people that are developing technical material. So that, as that becomes available, we're able to share that with the community. The hardware development kit, so we can point you at the retail channels to get access to the hardware development kits. And as I said, also the labs is responsible for the hardware development kit roadmap in the future as well. So getting feedback from the community is a valuable resource for us to then target new product ranges that really hit the sweet spots for the developer community. The forums are really powerful, very active, lively, and if you don't get support from a peer group, then there's the strong kind of technical support team that we have in labs that will assist. Kind of a regular newsletter, a solutions catalog, as I said, for sharing projects that you've been working on, maybe commercialized, maybe not. It depends on where you want to fit into things, and it might be that you've got something that you want to share to get some access to other people that might be able to help move it on to the next level. And then the final thing there is Partner Connect. I'll talk about that in a little more detail in a bit, but essentially Partner Connect is all around MediaTek providing a support mechanism by which you can accelerate your time to market. It's a matchmaking system that we can hand you into the value chain, and then we can, if you prefer, we can step back and let you follow that yourselves. Very brief conversation around the LinkIt One board, the hardware development kit and software development kit. It uses the Aster, the world's smallest system on chip for wearables. There are companion chipsets for Wi-Fi and GPS. It's a reference design that we've built. It was co-designed by Seed Studio. We have a rich OS, so free RTOS, that really powers, it's aimed to power the wearable and IoT device segment. And the first SDK that was available was essentially a plugin for Arduino libraries and provides additional APIs to cover any of the additional features that are available on the board. I'll show you the board very briefly. So there's various pinouts. A lot of you guys will be familiar with this board. It will look quite familiar, especially if you've been working with Arduinos in the past. A few things to point out on that screen. There's a headphone out, so we support audio files. So you can actually use it almost out of the box as an MP3 player if you wanted to. There's SD card support. The USB jack allows you to power it from a mini USB cable, either from mains or from a laptop or from the battery that's also supplied. That's the other side of the board. This is where all the the good stuff is. There's a number of antennas. These are all included in the box as well. One for GPS and the GNSS system. Our GPS solution on the LinkIt One board supports GPS, GLONASS, and Beidou. So hopefully covers most of the world's main satellite systems. There's a Wi-Fi antenna and also GSM. It's a 2G GSM solution on there. For the most part, that's probably appropriate for most IoT solutions, but certainly there may be developments in that area in the future. We also have an SD card. It's conveniently hidden away under the SIM slot, and there you can see the various main chipsets, notably the MT2502, which is an ARM7 processor. That screen is basically the hardware specs, so I won't bore you with that now. The slides will be available, so you can actually have a look at these anyway. This is all available information. The diagram, by the way, is the pinout sheet which comes with the board in the box, and there's a few more specs regarding the various chipsets and UARTs that are available. LinkIt One SDK, for those of you that are new to this and starting out, maybe moving from an Arduino upwards, it's an extension of the Arduino IDE. So if you download the Arduino SDK, then you can install the LinkIt SDK on top, and that will provide you with the additional APIs. For your information, for the more, higher end professional level developers, the LinkIt Assist doesn't support the Arduino SDK. It comes with an Eclipse-based plugin, so you can program it through Eclipse. But that Eclipse plugin will also support the LinkIt One as well. And some of the features, I won't go through the whole list there, but as you can see there on the left, we have the core features that are supported by the Arduino SDK. On the right, we have the LinkIt One additional features that are included in our SDK as well, and the features of that supports. A very quick slide just to show you the main differences of the LinkIt One and the LinkIt Assist. Mainly, I guess the most eye-catching thing is obviously it's got a capacitive screen built into it. But apart from that, they're relatively simple. The other main thing to think about is the Assist board is almost half the size of the LinkIt One board. So if size is going to be a potential issue, it might be worth thinking about the LinkIt Assist in the future. Talk about the MediaTek Cloud Sandbox. So this is a service that allows you to interact with the board. It supports RESTful APIs. You can visualize data. There's a web or a mobile application front end to it. It can let you remote control your device, switching lights on or off, for instance, and you can use it as a notification and monitoring service. It's intended really for the prototyping phase, so it's not intended to be a long-term solution. So once you've got your solution working, you would then migrate over in the commercialization phase to your preferred cloud solution. The data types we support: controller, display on and off. There's a hybrid controller that's coming soon. Visualizing data, where we can pick up GPS positions and present that. Lots of things like double values, string values. You can see the grade, the scale at the bottom there. One of the powerful things that we've got set up is when you build your various widgets to show things, you can select the code in a number of different architectures, jQuery, Arduino, whatever, and you can cut and paste that into your final solution. So that's literally just lifting that code straight out of the Cloud Sandbox and using it as you feel fit. Finally, as we're aware that there is a development challenge with certainly with IoT and wearables, it's not as simple as write your software and throw it into an app store and it's available and you can start monetizing it. There's a lot of fragmentation in the various parts of the value chain, and this gets complicated for developers, many of whom are coming from the software standing. You've got to work with people like ODMs, manufacturers, module distributors, component suppliers. It's quite tricky. So what we've created is a thing called the MediaTek Labs Partner Connect program, and essentially what we do is provide coverage across all the vertical markets, depending on whatever your solution might be, to help you, I guess, navigate the value chain. One of the things that we found just through doing some kind of initial investigation is that the various kind of steps along the way to getting to a commercial product, design and prototyping, development, certification, and manufacturing, we see sometimes up to a 50% saving by using Partner Connect, whereby we're putting you in touch with organizations that are already experienced at developing similar solutions. So instead of having to do all this on your own and trying to work out who's a good fit for you, we can help that side of things and kind of put you in touch with the right people. So what are the next steps for you guys? First one, please register at labs.mediatek.com. You can download all the free SDKs and any other technical material that's there. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have another webinar in 1 week's time, which is much more a technical deep dive into the LinkIt developer platforms. So that's on the 9th of July. I think it's going to be at the same time. And you can register again at labs.mediatek.com. So, if you've got any questions, if you haven't put some of them in already, then I'll be happy to pick up. Oh, I think we do have some questions. So, I have my able colleague Michael here, who'll tell me what the questions are, and we'll try and answer what we can.
Well, thank you, Ed, for a very interesting introduction to MediaTek Labs there, and thank you everyone for attending today. We have a few questions that have come in, so a few of them have been quite simple, so I've been answering them as we've been going along. But we have some other ones. So the first one is it's saying, well, again, thank you, Ed, for a very, very interesting presentation. I'm interested in joining MediaTek Labs. could you just very briefly sum up what benefits there are, and is it free, and where do I do it? So I think Ed, you have kind of touched on that, but if you could just say very briefly what the benefits are, if there's any cost, and where do I go to do that? Just very briefly, I think, Ed, because I think the person who's asking the question just wants that
sure
clear.
So the first thing is it is entirely free. So don't worry about that too much. I mean, essentially what it does is it allows you to get access to all the technical material. The SDKs are available for you freely. So there'll be no cost there. And also it gives you access to both the forums, which is your peer community, but also, and possibly as important, is access to the technical support service. So if there's any questions that can help you with your prototyping, then we can answer any questions that you've got. As a member of MediaTek Labs, we also provide freely, again, the solutions catalog, so you can kind of start to distribute that information about what you're delivering, not just to the labs community, but when MediaTek has its own events, we may be talking to someone like the automotive industry or kind of a healthcare kind of workshop. Then we've got a solutions catalogue that we can point people to, that they can see there are solutions available. So it's a kind of a mini distribution channel. And then I guess the final thing would be that it also gives you, as a labs member, free access to the Partner Connect program, by which we can really accelerate your time to market. Of course, time is money in this situation. Many of the people that we will put you in touch with in Partner Connect have done a lot of IoT work with us, so they're very experienced. They can accelerate you very quickly, and we also try and make sure that we're offering cost-effective solutions as well. So we're not offering kind of necessarily all kind of I guess gold-plated Rolls-Royce type solutions. It will be things that are designed to fit with most startups kind of price points.
Thank you, Ed. So just to very, very quickly sum up, so you register at labs.mediatek.com. There's absolutely no cost to you whatsoever, and you get the huge raft of benefits that Ed's just explained. Again, there's no cost. The only thing that you would need to buy, which is optional, of course, would be the hardware development board. So you get the software for free, you get all the technical support for free, tutorials for free. So there's absolutely no reason why you guys shouldn't just sign up today for labs.mediatek.com.
So I'll just give you one more bit of information, which I probably should have told you during the presentation. I apologise that I didn't. The price points of the 3 devices that we have on the market today are the LinkIt Connect is around $19. The LinkIt One is available for around $59 US, and the LinkIt Assist is around $120 US. So that just gives you an idea of the price points.
Great, thanks, Ed. So we have another question, which is around LinkIt One, which is it based for a Linux core?
At the moment, no. All I'll say is watch this space. There may be some announcements coming out shortly.
Thanks, Ed. And we have another question, again from Dimitro Panish. Can LinkIt also be used for a HVAC, so HVAC brackets, or for the industrial close brackets systems for automatization and monitoring?
Yes. Yeah, it's fully would work in that scenario.
Great. So hopefully that answers everyone's questions. If it hasn't, please say in the Q&A panel now, and we'll just give it a minute for anyone to type in any extra questions or to let us know that we haven't fully answered their question.
On the slide on the screen, by the way, at the bottom is my email address. So if anybody's got any questions that they feel a bit shy about asking now, feel free to either go to the
the labs.mediatek.com/contact us, or ping me a mail. I'm happy to follow up with you.
So do we have any more questions? I guess it appears not. So just like to say thank you everyone for attending. Please join up at labs.mediatek.com, and we look forward to seeing you next week at the webinar where we'll go into the LinkIt platform in a deeper dive. So thank you very much, Ed, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
See you soon.